Invasion brings together all 4 Arrowverse shows for the first time. Even Kara joins in. There's also a fun musical crossover between Supergirl and The Flash.
Your super friend.
Hey folks, welcome back to The Binger. The timeline for the Arrowverse's shows has gotten more and more complicated. Between multiple Earths, a time-altering flashpoint, and time travel, it's not always easy to figure out what happened when. We're here to help. In this video, we're reviewing the order of main events from Arrow, The Flash, Legends of Tomorrow, and Supergirl. We'll also give you an idea of the best order to watch the shows in to keep up with the Arrowverse's ever-expanding world. We'll have to leave a lot of stuff out, but we'll do our best to hit the highlights. As a result, there are some spoilers ahead. The Arrowverse began when the Atom, Ray Palmer, got stuck in prehistoric times. He hung out with dinosaurs and... No, we can't start there. Okay, let's try again. The Arrowverse began when Krypton was destroyed and Kara Zor-El was sent to Earth. It took her a while to get here and... yeah, that doesn't work either. Let's start when there was just a little show called Arrow. Arrow began when Oliver Queen returned home to Starling City 5 years after setting sail on the Queen's Gambit. Only Oliver, his father, his girlfriend's sister, Sarah Lance, and a crew member were on the yacht when it sank. Oliver escaped onto a raft with his father, who sacrificed himself for his son. But first, he passed on a list of people who failed Starling City. So the former devil-may-care playboy came home with a mission: save the city from corruption. Oliver secretly became a bow and arrow wielding vigilante to take out those on his father's list. While he kept things hush-hush, his bodyguard John Diggle and tech genius Felicity Smoke both discovered what he's doing and decided to help. Season 2 of Arrow is where things get really interesting. At that point, Arrow was still the only DC TV show on the CW, and the season introduced the Arrowverse's best villain, Slade Wilson, or Deathstroke, to his enemies. Wilson was a former ally of Oliver's during his 5 years away, but he came to Starling City to take revenge on Oliver for his part in the demise of the woman he loved. And he fueled himself with a super soldier serum to do it. Also, Oliver found a new ally in Thea's boyfriend from the wrong side of the tracks, Roy Harper. And Sarah Lance, who everyone believed drowned on the Queen's Gambit, came back to Starling City. In her time away, Sarah fell in with the League of Assassins and became a deadly fighting machine. Perhaps the most important thing to happen, though, was the introduction of Barry Allen. In a backdoor pilot for The Flash, Allen came to Starling City, learned Oliver's vigilante secret, and even made him his mask. Then, after he returned home, Barry was struck by lightning, which leads directly to the first season of his show, which unspools at the same time as the 3rd season of Arrow. Arrow's 3rd season starts with the introduction of Ray Palmer, who acquires Oliver's company, Queen Consolidated. He also changes the city's name to Star City. Plus, he actually creates an exosuit that he eventually uses to become the Atom. At the same time, Thea is being trained by Season 1 villain Malcolm Merlyn, who is revealed to be her father. Sarah's sister, Laurel, starts training too. Soon, everyone on Arrow's a superhero. The season's story revolves around the team's dealing with Ra's al Ghul and the League of Assassins. It includes an epic fight between Ra's and Oliver in episode 9. Meanwhile, on The Flash, Barry wakes up from a coma after 9 months to discover he now has superpowers. They're the result of a particle accelerator at Star Labs exploding, and Barry isn't the only metahuman that was created. Most of the others are using their new powers for evil, so Barry joins forces with Star Labs founder Harrison Wells and his employees Caitlin Snow and Cisco Ramon to stop them. Barry also thinks powers could help him exonerate his incarcerated father. He was blamed for ending Barry's mother's life. However, young Barry saw a metahuman, another speedster, commit the crime. This season also introduces baddies Captain Cold and Heatwave, better known as Leonard Snart and Mick Rory, as well as Dr. Martin Stein, a nuclear physicist who became one half of Firestorm after the particle accelerator explosion. By the end of the season, Barry's learned that Harrison Wells is actually Ebbard Thawne. Thawne is a speedster from the future called the Reverse Flash. He's also the man who took out Barry's mom. Thawne mostly just wants to get back to his time. In the end, Thawne is stopped when his ancestor, Eddie, shoots himself. Eddie's a police officer and the fiancé of Iris West, Barry's adoptive sister and, well, love interest. When Eddie's life ends, it erases the possibility of Thawne existing in the future. This also opens a black hole that leads to the formation of the Arrow's multiverse. With more than one DC TV show, this season was the one that started the tradition of crossovers. The Arrow Flash crossover happens in The Flash and Arrow's 8th episodes. This is the season where magic was introduced into the Arrowverse. On Arrow, Oliver and allies fight the mystical Damien Dark, and Laurel uses the Lazarus Pits to resurrect Sarah. However, when she comes back without a soul, the team calls John Constantine, a master of the dark arts, to restore it. Less magically, Laurel, who had taken up her sister's mantle as Black Canary, is taken out in a fight with Dark. Over on The Flash, Jay Garrick, the Flash from the parallel dimension Earth 2, arrives to help the team. A villain named Zoom arrives too and goes after Barry. Also, Cisco learns how to use his newly discovered meta powers as the hero Vibe. There's a new Harrison Wells from Earth 2, and Iris discovers she has a brother named Wally who eventually becomes a speedster. At the end of the season, Barry goes back in time and stops the Reverse Flash from ending his mother's life, creating Flashpoint. Once again, there's a crossover between the 8th episodes of The Flash and Arrow. This one introduces Hawkgirl, Hawkman, and Vandal Savage, and serves as a setup for the CW's next DC TV series, Legends of Tomorrow. Legends of Tomorrow's first season continued the story starting in the crossover. Rip Hunter, a Time Master from the future, recruits a ragtag team to help him go up against Vandal Savage. The team includes Sarah Lance, Ray Palmer, Mick Rory, Leonard Snart, Hawkman and Hawkgirl, and Martin Stein and Jax Jackson. Savage has taken over the world in 2166, and Rip wants to stop him. They use the time ship, the Wave Rider, to track the villain through time. Along the way, Snart sacrifices his life. Running concurrently with The Flash and Arrow this season was the new series Supergirl. Supergirl was mostly separate from the other Arrowverse series because it aired on CBS and filmed in LA. The official in-world reason for this was that Kara Zor-El resides on Earth 38, while the other shows take place on Earth 1. The series was responsible for bringing aliens into the Arrowverse. 13-year-old Kara Zor-El, just like her cousin Kal-El, was sent to Earth when her planet Krypton exploded. She was waylaid in the Phantom Zone, and by the time she got to Earth, Kal-El had become Superman. Kara was adopted by the Danvers and became especially close with her human sister, Alex. When the show started, Kara was 24. While she had suppressed her powers, she used them to save her sister. After that, she becomes Supergirl, the hero of National City. She works with Alex and the Green Martian, John Johns, to round up alien criminals who are hiding on Earth. She also works with Superman's friends James Olsen and tech guru Win Shot. In episode 18, Barry Allen makes an appearance when he accidentally runs into Earth 38 and meets Kara. It's super fun. Starting with Arrow's 5th season, The Flash's 3rd, and Legends and Supergirl's 2nd, all 4 series ran at the same time. Plus, Supergirl moved to the CW and started filming in Vancouver, making it available for crossovers. Perhaps the most important thing that happens early in the season is on The Flash. After saving his mother at the end of season 2, Barry eventually realizes he needs to put things back as they were and resets the timeline. There are still some changes, but at least things are mostly back to normal. Over the rest of the season, Barry and his team battle a new speedster named Savitar, a character who turns out to be a future version of Barry himself. Also, there's a new Harrison Wells, Caitlin Snow becomes Killer Frost, and Draco Malfoy helps them out. Over on Arrow, Oliver recruits new team members including Renee Ramirez, Evelyn Sharp, Curtis Holt, and Dinah Drake. They go up against a new villain called Prometheus. Eventually, Prometheus brings all of Oliver's people to the island where he was shipwrecked. There, Oliver rescues his son only to watch the island explode with his friends on it. Meanwhile, the Legends team works to defend the timeline. They also battle the Legion of Doom, which includes the Reverse Flash, Damien Dark, and Malcolm Merlyn. Plus, Amawa Jiwi, the superhero vixen, and historian Nate Haywood join the team. Lastly, on Supergirl, Kara investigates Lex Luthor's mother's shady organization while becoming friends with Lex's sister, Lana. So far, at least, Lana's different from her villainous family. Plus, Mon-El from Krypton's neighboring planet, Daxam, arrives. He's followed by his parents who want to take over Earth. Plus, we get our first introduction to the Arrowverse's Superman. This season's crossover, Invasion, included the 8th episodes of The Flash and Arrow, and the 7th episodes of Legends. Invasions brings together all 4 Arrowverse shows for the first time. Even Kara joins in. They battle the alien dominators who are threatened by Earth's metahumans and especially Barry's timeline manipulations. There's also a fun musical crossover between Supergirl and The Flash. The shows continue to follow the same timeline the next season. On Arrow, Oliver has a falling out with his new recruits and even some of his old teammates. He also battles Caden James and Ricardo Diaz. By the end of the season, Oliver is forced to make a deal with the FBI to save the city. In exchange for their help, he reveals himself as the Green Arrow and goes to prison. On The Flash, the team must contend with a new meta, the Thinker, who's really smart and can also steal other metas' powers. The season also introduces Ralph Dibny, who becomes a meta-hero, the Elongated Man. Legends' third season was where the show fully embraced its bonkers tendencies. The team's goal was to repair their anachronisms in the timeline. They also battled Damien Dark and his daughter Nora. By the end of the season, the team fought the demon Malice by forming a giant blue stuffed toy called Bebo. It's bizarre and delightful. In the process, Zari Tomaz, a hacker from 2042, joins the Legends, and Ava Sharp from the Time Bureau gets involved. Also, Amaya leaves, and Constantine becomes a reoccurring character. Finally, on Supergirl, Mon-El returns to National City from the 31st century where he founded the Legion. Jean rescues his long-lost father Myrn, and Kara reunites with her mother on Argo City. Plus, Kara battles the Kryptonian world killer, Rain. The season's crossover, Crisis on Earth X, involved the 8 episodes of all 4 shows. The characters gather for Barry and Iris's wedding. But the day is ruined by the invasion of Earth X's Nazi regime, led by the evil doppelgangers of Oliver and Kara. Sadly, Martin Stein meets his end during the fight. Happily, Iris and Barry finally get married, and Oliver and Felicity do too. We're almost up to the most recent seasons and all 4 Arrowverse shows, which wrapped up just a few weeks ago. Season 7 of Arrow starts with Oliver in prison, but not for long. While he's there, the new Green Arrow is operating in Star City. The vigilante turns out to be Oliver's secret half-sister, Emiko. Oliver tries to bring her onto his team, only to discover she heads the Ninth Circle, a terrorist group. By the end of the season, Felicity and Oliver go into hiding to have their daughter in safety. The season also flash-forwards to the future to tell the story of Oliver's adult children, William and Mia. In their 5th season, Team Flash battles Cicada, who wants to bring an end to metas. More importantly, the season officially introduces Nora West Allen, Iris and Barry's daughter. She comes from the future to meet her father, who says disappears in 2024. By season's end, a version of Ebbard Thawne manipulates events to escape prison, and Nora is erased from the timeline. Meanwhile, Constantine joins the Legends full-time, and they take on the demon Neron. The team also adds a shapeshifter named Charlie, who gets stuck in the form of Amaya, and Mona Wu, a werewolf. Lastly, on Supergirl, Kara and her team confront a growing wave of anti-alien bigotry. Meanwhile, in Cosnia, a clone of Supergirl is trained to fight her. This season also sees Nia Nal become the superhero Dreamer. In the end, the season's plot is revealed to be the work of Lex Luthor. He manipulates things so he can seem like a hero. And of course, there's another crossover, Elseworlds. The Legends sit this one out, but it includes Superman and introduces Lois Lane, Batwoman, who's getting her own show next season, and the Monitor. The Monitor tests the superheroes in anticipation of an impending crisis. At the end of the crossover, the next one is announced, Crisis on Infinite Earths. Ever since then, the Arrowverse has been teasing the upcoming event. We don't know what'll happen, but we know it'll be big. Especially with Arrow coming to an end next season, it'll be Arrow's last crossover. Fans have a lot to look forward to in the Arrowverse's future. Did we leave out anything crucial to the Arrowverse timeline in this quick rundown? Let us know in the comments. And don't forget to give this video a like and subscribe to The Binger. Thanks for watching.